What's going on, brothers? What's going on? It's your dude IP International Passport here in the building for yet another future classic on the way. First and foremost, before I go, what's going on? What's that? First and brothers, first and foremost, brothers. Before I go any further, please confirm to me in the live stream panel if you can hear me loud and clear. Please press a one. How is my audio? Mayday, mayday. Am I coming in clean, crisp, and concise? Babatunde, is my audio good?
Perfect.
Okay, so good for our guests. Now, gotta make sure that's good for the live stream members. Sammy Jones, thank you for the one. Appreciate you, brother. Can I get a couple more ones? LP, awesome, awesome, awesome. So I think we're good. So, brothers, welcome again. Again, if you're new to the channel, I accept and embrace you with open arms. And welcome up and thank you for the old people, subscribers for supporting the channel over the last couple of years. Brothers, when you come in, please like the video, likes are extremely important. Hit the super chats throughout tonight, hit the PayPal donations, join the Patreon, right? We got some Australian intel on the Patreon from last year that is definitely applicable, okay, for a lifetime. And of course, brothers, and of course, please cop the merch and book your IT consultations to get into IT. Let's get cracking. So I got a very special guest here with me called Mr. Baba Tunde. Baba Tunde, how are you doing today, brother?
Good yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Baba Tunde is out there in Australia. So before we get things cracking, brother, do you mind giving us a brief intro about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and anything special about you, brother?
Okay. Like you said, my name is Babatunde. You can call me Baba for short. Uh, I moved here nearly 10 years ago. Uh, I'm originally from Lagos, Nigeria. So I moved to my first place that I lived in Australia is Perth, Western Australia. I lived there for more than 7 years. Then I moved to Melbourne about 2 years ago, roughly two, like 2.5 years ago. Um, yeah, so that's me.
Awesome. Great, clean, crisp, and concise intro. So, brother, you're currently in Melbourne, Australia. Amazing, brother. You've been there for 2 years currently, which is fantastic, brother. Um, Australia is a country that doesn't get spoken of quite often on my channel. It is pretty far out from America, and it's definitely far out from the UK, brother. So, what made you move to Australia in the first place, brother, from Lagos, Nigeria?
Okay, so at the time, I really wanted to travel. Uh, I just finished uni and I was working, and at the time, I was pretty tired of living in Nigeria at the time. So I came across a friend of mine who had lost his dad. So he had just come back from Dubai. So I met him, in the area, and I was, we're just having a chat, like, hey, long time no see. I'm like, sorry for your dad, blah blah blah. We got speaking, and I was telling him then that I wanted to go to South Africa for my master's, and it was like, South Africa? It was like, nah, bro. Like, have you heard of Australia? And I was like, Australia? And he gave me a scenario where he met a African brother in Dubai, and that when he didn't actually meet him though, but that he saw him, and that the immigration in Dubai were giving him like so much trouble because obviously he was black. And the moment he sort of flashed his Australian passport, they just sort of, the mood just changed all of a sudden. Yeah, I remember that particular scenario that he gave me. Anyway, so I just started applying. So I started looking into Australia. Started looking into Australia, how life it is in Australia. Then I do some research. I found out Australia was like the third, like I think it's the third um, most
Wealthiest
favorably,
country?
not really Western, but like when it comes to like international students, it's like the third on the list. You
Mhm.
know, I think the first is UK, followed by I think the US, and I think third is Australia. So I did a little research, how life was in Australia and everything, and I made that move. I've been here close to 10 years now.
Amazing, brother. Well done for making that move. Australia is a country that's resource rich, and according to my information, per capita, they make a lot of money there per capita amongst the citizens. So I'm happy you're eating off that as well, brother. That's great to hear and see. So now we have a lot to speak about, brother, in terms of women. IT opportunities in Australia because the IT market is big there, and we discussed that you're currently trying to make some moves into IT in Australia, and that's great, brother. And of course, life there in general as a brother in Australia. But let's tackle the woman um, topic first and foremost, brother. So, brother, I'm going to ask you a very important question, brother. All right? It's a question that can serve, that can actually cure and stop world wars. It's a question that is probably the most important question in the history of mankind. It's a question, brother, that can stop an alien invasion from happening from the planet Mars against planet Earth. It's that important of a question, brother. The question I'm going to ask right now, brother, is are Australian women, are women in Australia checking heavy for brothers and passport bros, brother?
Absolutely.
Damn. What?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Break it down
absolutely.
for us,
Yeah.
brother. Break it down.
So I would first give you a breakdown of my, because I've lived in Perth more than I've lived in Melbourne. And even when I moved to Melbourne, it was during, the COVID time. So my experience in Melbourne, obviously, is not as, it's not better than my experience living in WA. So do Australian women, are they checking out for brothers? Absolutely they are. And I'll break it down for you. So Australia is a multi-ethnic country. Um, so you have all types of nationalities, races, cultures, and whatnot. Obviously, the Caucasian population makes the majority of Australia, but you also have, nextly followed by, I would say, the Chinese, the Indians, other Southeast Asians, the Pacific Islanders, and obviously, Black and African people. So that's the ladder of what the demography looks like. Um, so Australian women are definitely checking up for brothers. But I feel like they have certain stereotypes to Black people in Australia, especially the women.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of them, especially the Australians, and most even non-Caucasians Australians, they see majority of Black people as refugees. I think they have that sort of mindset, especially living in WA, living in Perth. Um, so when I say WA simply means Western Australia, and Perth is the city, is the main city there. So I might use that interchangeably. WA, Perth is the same thing. So they do have that notion that Black people are refugees because a lot of you know uh, we have a lot of South Sudanese refugees here in Australia, a lot of Sierra Leoneans and Liberians that came to Australia as refugees. You have people from Ethiopia, people from Eritrea, people from Somali. So those are the nationalities that constitute the largest Black people here in Australia. So there's that notion that that most Black people here are refugees, but I'm not a refugee. I came in as an international student, so I think that's something that is gradually changing. Um, so I feel like if you like for brothers that are from the UK or America, most especially, I feel like Australian women are definitely, they definitely, being an American is definitely top notch. Being a brother,
So
yeah.
so let me now get a scope on that question, brother. Let me let me go more specific in that question. So, why is it that Australian women have a huge attraction towards American brothers and UK brothers and other Western brothers? What is it about us that attracts them to us, brother?
To be honest, I just think because it's America, I think it's like that all over the world. Like if you're American, you're just seen as, the ideal type of man. And even if you're a brother, you're the ideal type of brother, Just, the culture, Australia is really big on culture. Like they feed off on on the entertainment industry in America, the music, the movie industry, and all of that. So I think that's the main reason why that's the case. I would say
Brother,
America over the UK or any other Western country. I would say for brothers. Yeah.
so brother, I'm gonna let you know this right question right now, this statement. So, I met a
Mm,
brother a couple years ago, right, and he confirmed to me, "Hey, IP, right, IP, Australian women love brothers, but IP don't wife up an Australian woman." Do you agree with that statement, brother?
absolutely,
Why so?
absolutely.
Tell us why we shouldn't wife an Australian woman, brother.
So so in Australia, like you said, like you presumed, life here is pretty. It's Australia is a rich country. It's a really rich country. So women here are not really look checking out for brothers because they have a certain status. Because you could be like a cleaner and earn like six figures if you're really hardworking. So and also that they have this Western feminist ideology here in Australia. So that'll treat me as equal, or I'm equal to men, I'm above men. It's really big here in Australia. So most women, even if you can be married to her first year, second year, third year, she could wake up one day and be like, what, I ain't feeling this anymore, and that's it. Half your shit is gone. Sorry for swearing. Half your investment and whatnot is gone, just like that. So that happens a lot.
Wow, wow. Okay. So, brother, let me also ask this, right, brother, right? Is there some sort of fetish they have towards brothers? It's not really love, but it's a fetish. They see the hip hop videos, they see the strong big brothers playing NFL, playing NBA. They see certain adult videos. I'm not gonna go too into it, brother. And they
Yeah,
see
yeah.
certain packages that are more than 5 inches. I'm not gonna go into it, brother. We're gonna keep it PG, right? So, do you think that ties into the allure of what they have towards brothers? These stereotypes. It's not really love. It's more of a fetish.
Absolutely, I would say that. Absolutely. Because I have come across a lot of Aussie women on dating apps, and that's what they ask sometimes. I'll be like, "Oh, how big are you?" You know?
What? What?
So yeah, yeah, it's definitely a fetish. Like yeah, yeah. So nah, this is that's definitely what it is. Definitely.
That's mad. Okay.
Yeah.
So going on from there, brother, right? Going on from there, right? Um, can you break down the races of women there that show brothers a lot of love? So, brother, I want to know. Hold on, I want to know how
Mm.
white Australian women treat brothers. I want to know how Asian Australian women treat brothers. I want to know how the Lebanese Australian women treat brothers. I want to know, brothers, how the mixed race, half black, half white Australian women treat brothers, and I want to know how the African Australian women treat brothers. Break it down for us, bro.
Okay, so I'll start from the Caucasian, because they're the majority anyway. Um, so obviously you have different types of Caucasian groups in Australia. You have the ones that have obviously lived in Australia for generations, and you have the ones that have, that were maybe first generation East Europeans, or whatever country they're from. So even within that sort of variation, you have different types of behavioral patterns. The way a generation Australian will treat you, to the way a first generation Australian will treat you. So I think there's a bit of variation as the gap as well, because the one was first generation has an heavy culture from the parents as well. So that's that. I remember there was a day I was at this uh, bar, and there was this Caucasian girl that was trying to, dance with me and whatnot. Like, I think she would probably be in her early 20s. And the mom just sort of just came. I think the mom was like brushing or something. And she just came and she was like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, I was like, take it easy, man. I'm not trying to. So I think that's definitely there as well. Um, so how do Caucasian women treat brothers? So I'll give you two scenarios, eh? The younger Caucasian women that perhaps had gone to school with a lot of, you know, African people, like, they have African guys in their class, and they have, they made friends with African girls as well. I think they have a different, they treat brothers differently. So it doesn't, so in this case, it doesn't really matter if you're from the US or not. You know, if she's comfortable around black people, if she's grown up with black people, if she's dated black people, then it's an easy it's an easy go. She can easily have um black friends, or have like a black boyfriend. So that's a bit different. With the more older Caucasian women, I think it depends. What you do, where she meets you. You can meet a lot of them online, especially the older ones. I think the older ones, though, the ones from 40s and above, I think they give brothers much love compared to the younger ones. That I can tell you. So with the other races, um, the
Asian,
Chinese, the Asian ones,
Japanese, Korean, Chinese,
I think
Vietnamese.
yeah, I think they're more Chinese, yeah, to be honest. Vietnamese. I think with them, I think it's the same as well. I think it's the same it's the same ideology for the rest of those racial groups as well. If they were born here, if they had, gone to school with black people, I think it's the same. I think it's down the ladder. Just because I remember that I had this housemate who had a Vietnamese girlfriend, and I believe she wasn't born here, but she obviously had lived there for a long time, and so has he. So they have a lot in common. So it's not really whether they don't like you or not. It's about really what you guys have in common. You see?
Mm.
So I think for the most part, it would be Caucasian women. Then, down the ladder as regards to, the population, the demography, and like that. So I think it's the same thing on the spectrum, I would say. For Black Australian women, or girls or ladies that were born here, I think a lot of them usually like white men.
What?
Yeah,
Hold on,
I
brother.
think so.
Hold on, brother. You telling me the black Australian women are picking white men over brothers? What? Over
Yes,
passport
yes,
bros? What's going on there,
absolutely,
bro? Why is that?
absolutely, absolutely, because they've been brainwashed or whitewashed, I would say. So a lot of the mixed races, half white, half black, and black, Australian girls that were born here. I think majority of them like white men. Yeah, I think so. I think so. For the ones that perhaps came from Africa, um, I would say it's 50-60, or 50-50, or 50-60, depending on but I think for the majority of the ones that were born here, I think that's yeah. I think they are more into white men than they are into brothers. Definitely.
S- So they're more into white men. Do they treat black men bad in Australia? These black Australian women?
Well, they don't like to date black men. It's not necessarily that they will treat you bad, but obviously they're not willing to. A lot of them, though, not all of them, but I would say a lot of them. I would say maybe about 65 to 70%. Even if you had to meet them at the club or you meet them on dating sites or apps, the probably would just ignore you and go more for the Caucasian man. Yeah.
Wow. So Caucasian men are running through the black Australian sisters in Australia. That's a damn shame to hear, bro. That's a
Caucasian men
damn shame to hear.
they're winning here, man. They're running through everything.
Can we
Yeah.
expand on that? As to how 'cause I've heard that as well, brother. I've heard
Mm,
that Australian men are getting the top notch women of every race in Australia, and
absolutely. Yeah.
can you expand on that, brother? And why is that?
Yeah, because Australia you know, is a white. I'll pretty much say it's a white country. It's very white on the outside.
Mhm.
Um, in cities like Melbourne and Sydney, it's pretty diverse in terms of the population, but it's still very, very white. Like, most of the CEOs, top executives, heads of parastatals and a lot of businesses are still very white, you see? So that could be one of the reasons, definitely. But, I think it's more of a prestige to have a white, partner here rather than having so I think that's the main reason. Like I said, Australia as a whole is still very new to that whole black culture. So they see white as, like, the top pinnacle, yeah, like, yeah. So I think that's the main reason.
Awesome. Thanks for the breakdown so far. Shout out to Mr. Demswood, who's back in the building, my superstar mod for the £199 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Australian women are on that beep.com nonsense. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's a damn shame to hear, man. Appreciate you,
Mm.
Demswood. Welcome back, brother. And brothers, can we please get the likes up, man? We got over 80 people watching, but less than 30 likes, man. You got to please support me and what I'm doing, man. Get the likes up, man. Likes are free. Just hit the like button, bruv. Just hit the like button, please. Hit it. That's it, brothers. Just hit the like button. It's not hard. It's free. Please support, 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 support. Like the video. Thank you very much. So this is awesome breakdown so far on Australian women, brother. Now, obviously, we know they're not wifeable, okay? But there may be a case where you are living in Australia and they may come across an Australian chick that is somewhat decent. So I'm going to ask you this question, brother. Tell me five benefits, right, that you get from dating an Australian woman, in your opinion. Tell us the good things about Australian women, brother, in terms of the dating perspective.
To be honest, it depends. It depends what you're looking for. Um, so if you're an Australian, like if you've got an Australian passport, I don't really see any sort of benefits why you would date an Australian woman, to be honest.
Damn, damn.
Yeah, I don't see any sort of there's no tangible real benefits why you would date an Australian woman if you live here and you are an Australian. Um, yeah, to be honest. I
Damn.
think
All right.
I
Go on.
don't think because you have a lot of other women from Europe that do come here. I think they are better. I think they are better to the regular Australian type woman. I think women from like yeah, in Australia that is anyway. And even those women mess around with brothers more than Australian women actually because even in Perth, I remember there's a place in Perth in the city called Nutbridge. You have a lot of backpackers from Europe, Switzerland, places like the UK, places like Germany, especially German women. I think they mess around with brothers a lot. So I think those type of women are better for dating, even in Australia, than a typical Aussie chick. I would say that. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. So, brother, can you tell me the negatives of dating an Australian woman, brother?
Oof, negative. Um, Well, I think one thing I would say is that, like I said, the typical Australian woman is a feminist. You know, she's a feminist. She has that, you know, Western feminist toxic ideology. So to her, you know, she's the boss. To her, she sees you as equal to her. She wants you to put as much energy, if not more, into the relationship. And it's just what you get, like you know from typical um how do I say this? Like, I don't want to sound some type of way. It's just what you get, like from a typical woman that sees you as like she's doing you a favor, uh being with you, rather than you know um seeing you as someone that she is um submissive to, I would say. Yeah. So to me personally, I don't mess around with Aussie women, and I wouldn't really recommend them, but you can have fun with them, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. And brother, what kind of fun do you have with an Australian chick? I'm guessing that's the bedroom activity, but apart from that, then nothing.
For me, for my experience so far, yeah, I would say. I would say. Yeah. And I think the older they are, the more easier it is to get them, you know. The ones that are 30 below, they are like, on top of their A game, man. They are, everywhere, partying, having a good time, doing all the nonsense and everything else. But the older they get, the more easier they are to reach. And yeah, so that is one thing else that you should know. So if you're the type that is just looking for fun, I would say you go for the older ones from maybe say 35 and above. I think you will get more love from those ones than the younger ones, definitely.
Now, I've got two more questions here before we wrap up the woman's part here. Next question I have for you, brother, is in terms of, I'm assuming the body count is off the chain with Australian women, right?
Off the chain, off the chain IP. Like you meet an Aussie chick that is 18, 19, and bruh, she's probably being run through by so many dudes. So many
Wow.
dudes, man. So nah, yeah. That's definitely, you know. Funny enough, I think it was about a few months ago. I was at this kebab shop in the city, a place called what's it called? In the city anyway. And there was this bunch of Aussie girls, right?
Hold on,
And
brother. Brother,
yeah,
before you say that, right, make sure they're not they're 18 plus, right?
no, they are 18 plus. Nah,
Okay.
they are.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
All right. Carry on speaking, brother.
nah, they are
Just
18
making sure.
plus. Nah, IT, everyone that I talk to is over 18, man. Come on.
Uh, no. I mean,
Yes,
in terms of telling stories from when you've heard that. Just want to make sure that it's the 18 plus, brother. But carry on, brother. It's all good.
absolutely. Everyone is. I think those chicks were probably in their 20s. I think mid 20s, I would say, mid to late 20s. And
Before
I
you,
hope
hold on, brother. Before you say so, brother, Casey, I'm going to give you the opportunity to call in Casey. So, Casey, please stay on the line, and you can come here and defend your fellow woman folk, in Australia. So, Casey, listen, like this is an open platform, and if we're wrong here, Casey, I'm happy to admit I'm wrong. I'm not an arrogant dude. We're not arrogant people. So, Casey, I want you to call in and actually defend yourself because from what I'm hearing about Australia, Casey, it ain't looking too good. Brothers who want to find a wife from Australia have told me, IP, don't go to Australia. These women have been ran through, right? They've been ran through by Chad, Tyrone, Pookie, Ray Ray. Um, Casey, six is too high. That's too high, Casey. Six is too high, Casey. Casey, you should either be a virgin, okay, and waiting for the right man to marry you, or have a body count of one, and that body count of one should have been your sweetheart from college, right, from university. Six is too much, Casey. What's going on there, Casey? So if I'm wrong here, Casey, all right, come and speak to me. Carry on, brother.
Yeah, you could even see from our comment that, to us, six is normal. That shows you that shows you the level of of what I'm talking about. So, like I was saying, so I was at this kebab shop, right? And so one of the girls was sort of talking to me. I was like, "Hey, what's up? What's happening?" And I overheard them saying something about. I think she received a call on one of them, and she was saying something about, "Oh no, no, I'm not trying to have a orgy tonight." You know, I'm like, "Huh?"
What?
Yeah, I was like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm not trying to have an orgy tonight. Nah, nah, I'm fine. I'm good." I'm like, "Huh?" So this girls were having orgies like at random, So yeah, that's definitely what's out here, man. Yeah, I definitely had a lot of
And
stories about.
I'm guessing she was a Caucasian chick, right? That's it. That
They were all, I think there were
there you
about
go.
four, yeah, four, five of them, and they were all definitely Caucasian chicks. Yeah,
So, brother, let me ask this right. I'm hoping there's at least some hope from the Asian woman there. And I'm not obviously I'm not talking about the Asian born in Australia because from what I've heard and seen, they also follow along with that liberal
yeah,
sexual lifestyle there, right?
they
But what
do,
about
they do.
what about the Korean, the Japanese chicks, right, straight from the motherland of those countries? Are they adopting to those ways, or do they keep within their culture and are they easy to wife up and date?
I feel like it's the same with every category of women that are not that were not born here in Australia. Not just the Koreans or Asians, the whole spectrum. Even the African girls that have been here for quite a time, they also go in line with that sort of pattern. So I feel like with the Asian women that are that were in born here, that maybe migrated here a few years ago, I think you would get more love, and I think that more wife would than you would find, you know. So that's definitely along the whole spectrum. Yeah.
But brother, how strong-willed are they against the Australian culture? Because it's very hard to fight against the media brainwashing, the programming, the songs, what they teach at schools. The whole woke liberal agenda, right? Do these women still keep within their strong conservative culture, or eventually does the outside culture come into their hearts and destroy them from inside out?
They do. They do. They do. Like I said, I told you that I had a housemate whose girlfriend was Vietnamese, and this girl would, cook for this brother. She even went all the way to try and learn cultural food because I think the guy was Sierra Leonean, I believe, but he's been here for a while as well. And you had this Vietnamese chick in the kitchen cooking like cassava leaf, cooking some goosey, and I was like, okay, like I see you, you know. So I think with those ones, you would definitely get more love. Yeah, you would get more love with the Asian women that migrated here, years back compared to the
Okay,
ones that
brother.
were born here. Yeah,
So now there's a particular ethnic group of women in Australia that there's quite a lot there. I've heard they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, and they're mostly in Melbourne. These are Lebanese women, right? Brother, I want you to tell me more
yeah.
about the Lebanese women in Australia. Number one, brother, hold on. Are they checking for brothers, Lebanese women? How beautiful, feminine, hold on, brother, submissive, right, coachable, and wifeable are they? And, what's the whole ambiance around these Lebanese women in Australia? Are they for the streets or are they for the wives? And are they checking for brothers, brother? Break it down for me, bro.
Oof. Wow, that's a loaded question. Yeah, yeah, it is a loaded question. It is a loaded question.
Hold on. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Okay, no, okay. First one,
mhm.
are they checking for brothers, Lebanese women?
I think it all depends on what sort of religion they subscribe to. I think if they are Muslims, I think you would get less love from the brothers. I think those ones that are Muslims, you would get less love. However, if they are Christians, I think you would get more love because I have had some of my friends dated and some that have been with Lebanese women. So I think it's more of a function of what they subscribe to in terms of religion. I think if they're Muslims, then that might be a bit more tricky, because that means they are, because there's a large community of Lebanese here. Like Lebanese they run things in Melbourne and Sydney. I've heard. They own a lot of businesses. They have a lot of money. So you know, for the average Muslim Lebanese chick, I think you know the chances of her getting with a brother, it's slimmer compared to if she was Christian. So that I can tell you. But they are definitely checking out for brothers. I can tell you that. I can tell you. Especially the ones that have, sort of been with brothers or I mess in the culture. Yeah, in Australia, especially here in Melbourne, I think a lot of African brothers are actually getting a lot of love from, a lot of Aussie women, especially with the growth of Afrobeats. I think
Mm.
that's definitely been we're definitely reaping the rewards of that. Yeah. So
So these are these fresh off the boat Africans, or are these born Australian black Africans, but born in Australia?
what do you mean? Sorry, I didn't.
So when you say African brothers getting love, are these African brothers who immigrated to Australia, but they're African, right? They're Sudanese or whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're just living in Australia, or were they born in Australia but they're Black Australians by nationality?
Okay, okay. I will tell you this for sure. The African brothers that were born here are definitely getting more love from women here, like in generality. Like that's a true, that's a fact. However, you have brothers like myself that have migrated here a few years ago, and like I said, with the current rise of Afrobeats, we are definitely getting a lot of love from these women, and that I can tell you. That I can tell you.
Ama- Amazing, man. Shout out to Burner Boy for putting in work over the past couple of years, man. He's
Shout out for
jumping some
Burna Boy,
classics.
man. Yeah, nah, Burna Boy is killing it, man. Burna Boy is killing it, Banksy. I'm telling you, man. Because last year I went to this. Burna Boy was supposed to perform here last year, so there was this concert called Promised Land. It was in a different city,
Mm-hmm.
Gold Coast, and you had Australians from all over the country wanting to see Burna Boy. It was mad. You see, so Burna Boy is definitely repping the brothers out here, man. Shout out to Burna Boy. Shout out to Burna Boy and the
You know,
rest of
brother,
them.
the same way K-pop has essentially saved Asian men, East Asian men, right? Because I'm seeing East Asian men with dying women now in the UK. I'm seeing them with dying white women, with dying black women, and with dying Asian women that I never saw 10 years ago. K-pop has, changed the dating scene for Asian men for the better. It's also happening with Afro beats as well. I'm hearing some crazy stories in Germany right now that Afro beats is big in Germany, and literally every damn German chick wants an African dude in Germany. It's crazy right now. So shout out to our African brothers, and shout out to the Burner Boys, the Whiz Kids for putting in work, man. So the same way that K-pop is making Asian men better, we need to use Afro beats to our advantage, brothers. So start bumping some Burner Boy, start bumping some, some old school classics, man. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know.
Absolutely, nah, it is killing. Yeah, Burna Boy. Shout out to Burna Boy. Shout out to Whiskey. Shout out to Davido. Shout out to Ashake. Shout out to the brothers are putting in a lot of work for us, man. I can tell you that for sure. They're killing it.
Absolutely, man. I know myself, brothers, man. Brothers, we got over 100 people watching, man. We need to get the likes up and the support flowing. Only two super chats so far. And I've been giving you, brothers, back to back live stream classics right, for the past month or so. And I got a Passport Bro show with Theo happening on Monday. Brother, you gotta show me more love, man. You gotta show me more love, brothers, man. I'm putting in work for you, brothers, to help you navigate this crazy dating scene. No other channel is doing what I'm doing, brothers. So please support me, man. Get the likes up. Get the likes up, brothers, at least. And support me, man. Shout out to the legend, the greatest passport bro in history, Mr. Theo Waff, for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you, Theo. Thank you, brother, for the support. My childhood best friend married an Aussie girl, and she slept with other men and utterly destroyed him. Casey, Casey in the live stream chat, Casey Watson. This is what we're talking about, Casey, man. What's going on here with your kinfolk, Casey? He ended up marrying a single mother who never gave him a child, and she also cheated on him. They have been ran through. Theo has spoken. Theo has spoken. Damn, brother, is that an average occurrence in Australia, Babatunde?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I have had a lot of stories, even from Caucasian men, who have had issues with their marriages. Like because like I said, I've lived mostly in WA, and like you're aware as well, Australia is a very rich resource country. WA is the actual hotspot for that natural resources. So they have a lot of mining jobs in over there in WA. You have a lot of this, mining workers will go off to the mines, maybe for like 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whereabout, and their women are just out in the streets getting rammed by everyone. It's crazy. So that's definitely a major occurrence in Australia. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So now let's close this chapter on the women part. Um, I've got what I need, and I'm sure the brothers have what they need too. And I want to speak about the opportunities that it can give brothers. So we know the women are horrible, but we know that the economy in Australia is amazing. It is one of the richest countries in the entire world in terms of pure wealth and per capita. They have a lot of cash in Australia. So, brother, you know me. I'm big on IT. IT is gonna be the passport bro, de facto profession that I'm pushing out for brothers, right, to live this passport bros lifestyle. Brother, can you break down the IT opportunities currently in Australia? Is it in abundance? And is it something that brothers can take advantage of? Break it down for us.
Absolutely. The one IT area that is like the main thing in Australia right now is cybersecurity. And that's why I myself have also sort of you know taken the opportunity to get myself in that sort of in that field as well. You even have so I got a what do you call it? A government sponsored state sponsored course that I'm doing at the moment, and the price of that course, sorry, the price of that course would usually be around 11 grand, and I'm getting it paid for me for free.
What?
Absolutely zero. I am paying zero to do that course. So that goes to show you um, how in demand cybersecurity is at the moment, because there's been a lot of breaches, cyber attacks recently in Australia by a lot of hackers and cyber attackers, definitely. And so the whole country um, is there's a shortage of cybersecurity experts, and they are obviously investing a lot in that field of IT. So I reckon in the next 1 to 5 years, Australia is the place to be if you're looking to be in that field of IT, cybersecurity. Yeah,
Amazing, brother. And they also pay very well in Australia in the IT sector, brother.
absolutely, absolutely. If you've got the experience, you've got the needed experience, the needed skill, you're talking about six figures. So they definitely do pay well. Yeah, yeah, in Australia. For yeah, in IT.
Amazing, brother. So I think the plan here, right, is to, you know, for brothers to go to Australia, make money in Australia, but travel around Australia. So Australia is quite close to other Asian countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, South Korea. So if a brother's very smart here, right? If brothers have their thinking caps on, you would have your base in Australia, earning Australian dollars, but remote working from Japan or South Korea. Brothers, we're thinking big here, brothers, man. We ain't playing no games here, brothers, man. You hear me, brothers, man? Check it out, brothers, right? When you brothers go to Australia, brothers, man, you get your job in Australia, brothers. So guess what, brothers, right? You're getting paid in Australian dollars, brothers. So, brothers, you take your skill set to Japan, brothers, right? You remote work there in Japan, brothers, earning Australian dollars, brothers, making money go further, brothers. Ain't that the blueprint there, Babatunde, brother? Break it down for us, brother.
Ab Absolutely. That's actually what I'm trying to do. In the next couple of months, when I'm done with that course, my plan is to actually migrate to the Middle East or somewhere in East Africa, work remotely, and that Australian dollar, and have, the best life. Pretty much, living and working remotely from another country, definitely. So that's the plan.
Amazing. Now, for brothers who don't like, America, I get you, brothers. For brothers who don't like the UK, I get you, brother. So, brothers, brother Babatunde, right? Let's say we have an American brother, right? He's from Texas. He's from South Central LA. He's from Baltimore. Okay, he's from St. Louis, Missouri, right? And
Mm.
he moves to Australia, right, brother? Okay, he wants to move to Australia, but he's thinking, how's the quality of life like in Australia? Can I get by? Cost of living, earning great money, the culture. Is it convenient there, brother? Just to get myself set up for a bit there, brother. Brother, is it worth making that move to Australia, brother, to build a new life there, making
It
money,
is,
and then work abroad? Break it down for me, brother.
it is absolutely. It is worth it coming into Australia. What I would suggest though is to avoid cities like Sydney. Sydney is like it's like the New York of Australia. It's like the main city here. However, Sydney is very expensive. So if you're looking at cotton cost, I would say avoid Sydney. Melbourne, I think, is the best city here in Australia. Not as expensive as Sydney, but better overall in terms of quality of life and everything else. So I would recommend Melbourne and also Perth. I think Perth is one of the most underrated cities in the world. Perth is actually very good as well. It is a emerging city. It's the fourth largest city in Australia in terms of population. So I would say if you want the best quality of life, I would say Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane. Yeah, I would say you wouldn't be too, it wouldn't be a total culture shock coming from the US if you live in those cities.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Shout out to Mr. G for the $4.99 super chat. G, appreciate you, brother, for the support. Thank you, brother. So, brother, we're brothers, right? We're black men, right? And the world does hate us. The world wants to see us destroyed, wants to oppress us for forever, right? The world wants to demean us, disrespect us, treat us like crap, right? So, what is the life as a brother in Australia in terms of race, right? Are you called the N word every day? Are you discriminated? Is there institutional racism against brothers in Australia from Australian people? I know the white people there, the Indian people, they have a lot of power there, and the Chinese people have a lot of power there in Australia. Are those three groups of people? Are they oppressing black people? Tell me the racism aspect for black men there, brother.
What I would say, yeah, in Australia, any form of racism is frowned upon. Um, so you can actually, someone can actually be in trouble if they're racist towards you, especially within the work environment. You see, so I remember I had a girlfriend who was discriminated discriminated at work. She ended up getting around $10,000 from my employer just because of that alone. So I think they do frown against racism here in Australia. Like it's by law. Like if someone becomes racist to you in any form, they could actually get they could get in a lot of trouble. However, it doesn't stop, micro aggression and, you know, racist, um, how people would deal with you on a normal day to day, you know, um, on the streets or in the club, places like that on a daily level. I believe there is still a lot of racism in that aspect. Just being a black man, the way they see you or the way they would treat you. But when it comes to the work environment, racism is definitely very frowned upon. I can, I would definitely tell you that.
Was your girlfriend black?
Yeah, she was at the time anyway. My ex, she was black. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
And if you can speak on it, what you call a slur at work, or what happened, bro?
no, no. I think what happened was that she was having sort of, I don't know, debate with a supervisor or something, and he referred to, he said something about, why do you do this? Is it because of your culture? You know? And she was like, huh? What does my culture have to do with what I do? You know what I'm trying to say? So she
Yes.
reported that to, obviously management, to HR. They didn't do anything about it, and then she took it up to, work safe. And then they sort of escalated that whole issue, and yeah, so that you definitely have the sort of platforms to fight against any sort of discriminatory, attitude towards you if you feel like you've been discriminated against. However, that wouldn't change, how people would treat you on the streets or in a club or places like that. That is just like, day to day, interactions with people. Yeah.
Brother, so how is that like, the treatment in the clubs, the treatment in like, normal everyday situations for you in Melbourne or in Australia in general? Do you get weird looks? Do people like, keep move their hands away from you or move their
So,
hands away from you when they
so,
when you
so, so I'll give you certain instances of
okay.
where I think that has happened. So I remember there was a time I went to Canberra. So Canberra is the capital, it's the Australian capital territory. I went there to do some, personal, um, personal business anyway. And I remember I went to the club, you see. So while I was at the club, there was this Caucasian chick that was dancing with me, you know. And she was dancing and she was backing me and she was dancing, she was dancing. She was like just having a good time. And our friend came up to her and said, "It's black, it's black."
What?
Yeah. I could hear what she was saying. She's like, "It's black, it's black." And she didn't really care. She just kept on dancing. And what she did next was that she just came, laughed, and just simply took her friend away. And this is a young girl. This is probably like in her 20s. So it's not like she was like, yeah, you see? That's even sometimes you go to the club and you're well dressed, you're looking flashy, you're looking smart, perfumed up, everything looking good. You're trying to holler at a chick, and she gives you some sort of, and you just see this random looking Caucasian dude that is wearing like a slack t-shirt, and they're getting, she's, before you know it, few minutes later, they're kissing in the club, and you're like, huh? There must be something. I'm like, what's going on? Like, so yeah, those types of you see that a lot in Australia. Yeah, you see that a lot in Australia.
Brother, that reminds me of my experience with Asian women in the UK, right? You know, even though, I get a nice haircut, I'm in a suit, I look good, I got perfume on. These Asian chicks would never give me the time of the day in the clubs, in the bars, cold approaching. But then the next day, I see these Asian chicks with the most bummy looking white dudes. And I'm thinking, yo, what's going on here? This dude is has no swag, hasn't shaven in 5 years. Okay, is hasn't even hit the gym. I'm hitting the gym. I got muscle. He hasn't. He can't compare to me. And I'm seeing a dime Asian chick holding hands with him, and I'm thinking it must be racism. It must be
It
racism,
is.
bruv.
It is. It is. Same thing happens here, brother. Same thing happens here. Yeah.
Bruv, and it frustrates me, man. It frustrates me, brother, because I'm thinking
Mm.
like, I'm improving myself, right? I can't control my
Yeah.
race. God made me a black man, and I'm proud to be a black man, right? So judge me for my character, for my education, for my degree, the fact that I'm putting work in IT, and you won't give me the time of the day because I'm black. But the white boy that looks like a homeless dude, right? You're checking for him. You're parading him around, and you can't give me a time of day, brother. What's going on there, brother?
It's the same thing I feel. Same thing happens here. So it happens here as well. It's definitely racism. Yeah. It's definitely.
Man, that feeling just it's like how can you be so racist to the point where even though you know that a brother may have went to Oxford, Cambridge, is smart and is intelligent and he's a clean cut dude, you can't give him a time of the day because he's black. That right there is virtual racism, bro. And I experienced that from Asian women a lot in the UK, to the point where I just gave up on them. I'm like, this ain't right, brother.
And imagine this. That is the UK. UK is definitely more diverse than than Australia, and I'm guessing that's even in London. So just
Yeah.
imagine what it would be, yeah, in Australia. Yeah,
I, I I don't know how you do it, brother. I don't know how you do it, brother. But I think you got a plan here. Make your money. You use the system to its benefit, and use those benefits abroad. I think that's the plan for brothers
yes,
who are thinking about Australia.
absolutely. That should be the plan.
Because brother, it gets boring just running through a bunch of white chicks that fetishize brothers. You're thinking,
Uh,
I'm not a piece of meat. I want a chick that loves me for me. That's my girlfriend, not just running through chicks every single day that wants to have a piece of the black man. Break it down for me, brother.
that's you said it as it is, IP. You said it as it is. There is a lot of the Caucasian chicks here that get, that brothers do have. They they probably have had lots of dudes, you know, within the same group of friends. So you see the same girl, yeah? You see her with brother A. Next week, you see her with brother B. The following week, you see her. So it's the same group of chicks that are getting run through by you know by brothers literally. So there's nothing new to explore as regards to that. So yeah, it is the same thing. The same experience you're having in the UK is definitely what's happening here as well.
And
Yes,
brother, the thing about, I can admit that I feel like when it comes to white women in the West, I feel like Australian white women are very, very attractive. I don't know. I think it might be the sun that makes them very attractive, and the whole biology there. But when I compare Australian white women to English white women and American white women, I think Australian women are just they're above them, right, in terms of looks. Do you agree that, bro?
absolutely. I would say that as well. The thing with Australia is that Australia is so you have indigenous Australians, right?
Mm,
So a lot of the Europeans who came to Australia migrated, yeah, a couple of centuries back. So you have a lot of mix amongst them as well. So you have the Spanish, you have the East Europeans, you have all types of groups that have sort of you know intermarried or intermixed. So they're giving you the top notch type looking Caucasian type women. Yeah, so they're definitely. I would tell you that Australian women are fine. I would
mm.
tell you, man, they are fine. Like you could see like a Caucasian chick with like a you know really good looking body, nice ties, nice, I'll just keep it PG, you know the rest. So yeah, that definitely you would see, yeah, in Australia, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a shame that they dress very promiscuous. They got high body counts still because the way they dress there in Australia is just it's wild, man. I've seen some crazy outfits, um, and then they're feminists. It's just too much bad traits, that overlooks the actual looks. So we're at the 1 hour mark, brother. This has been a great live stream so far. Let me read this super chat and let's get the phone lines open. Okay, Babatunde?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Shout out to Mr. Ricky for the $2 super chat. Is your IT class beginner friendly? Start date. So, my Python class, you mean? Yes, it is beginners friendly, brother. We go from beginners to intermediate. Start date will most likely be in August or September. Um, I'm looking to take in around 100 people, okay, to do the class. If I get a low sign up rate, let's say 10, 15, 20, 25, I'm going to cancel it. There's just no point in me wasting time if I'm just teaching 5 people a week. I want to have a huge cohort of students. So let's get to 100 this time, and then yeah, beginners to intermediate. The Python course is coming very soon. Python mixed with other parts in IT. What Theo teaches, what I teach, you're going to be unstoppable. No country will turn you down, including Australia. They see you with cloud and Python. Whoa, we want you in our country. We want you in our country. So yeah, August, September, most likely the start date. I'm gonna start speaking more about it and get a schedule running very soon. So please keep be updated. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, get into my Facebook group, look at my YouTube posts for updates on that course. Shout out to Black Dragon 10K for the $2 super chat. They're almost like Scandinavian women. Yes, indeed. So notice how I said that they're the best looking white women in the West, right? But overall, the best looking white women overall are definitely in Scandinavia. The Swedish, the Danish chicks, the Norwegian chicks, but particularly Swedish chicks, I think they're the best looking white women in the world. However, they age horribly. They age pretty badly. Wouldn't you agree, brother? Australian women, white women age horribly.
Absolutely. I would say that as well. I agree. I agree. The moment
You
they
know,
start
so
hitting 35, yeah, yeah. And that's why that group from 35 above are usually the ones that are,
aggressive.
yeah, less I would say more accessible, I would say, yeah. 35 and
Awesome.
above. They're more accessible to brothers than, all the other age groups. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, man. Thank you, Babatunde. So, brothers, now is your time to call in to ask Babatunde regarding questions about Australian women, IT industry in Australia, how to actually move to Australia. So, be very smart with your questions. I don't really get much Australian people on my channel. This is the second Australian stream I've had. So, please do not ask any silly questions and ask questions about Australia and the experience. Okay. Let me bring in Mr. Bass Pullo in the background. And Casey, if you're still there, Casey, now you can call in Casey. Okay, and ask your questions to us. Let me bring in Base Polo. What's going on, Base Polo?
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
All good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I have like maybe three questions. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible.
Hmm.
Shout outs to you, the guests. I know Nigerians get such a bad rap, but you guys are literally my comrades. You guys literally showed me the ropes in IT when I first came here. So shout outs to you. The first question I have is, when Australians come on holiday here, they complain about the prices of Australia. They say, "Wow, these shoes would cost 3 times as much in Australia." So I'm wondering, is Australia more expensive than the United States? Um, that's the first question I have. Second question I have is, I have known Eritrean women to be quite traditional, sticking to their moral values and stuff like that. Like, and if they date out, usually it's usually with another like African dude, like most of the time. Um and you're telling me in Australia they pretty much jump ship and now are what we call Brad worshippers. That's what we call African women who like white dudes. We call them Brad worshippers. But and then the third question is, seeing that Australia is such a feminist outpost, is it possible to raise a family and tradition there? Like
Brother, you gotta
tradition.
ask it one by one, brother. Ask it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ask the first question because it's too much, brother, at once. Ask one question first, brother. Then go on to the next
Okay.
one after. So one question,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah.
Babatunde answers. Then the next question after. So
Okay.
first question,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
so with the first question, you're actually right. I have heard Australia is pretty expensive. Uh, I remember there was a joke. Someone was saying that the prices you get in airports for stuff are the same prices you get in a regular Australian shop. Because
Hmm.
obviously in the airports the prices are usually way more expensive.
Hmm.
So I would say definitely. I don't know, maybe that's because of the distance, or maybe
Hmm.
just because there's a lot of money here. So I would
Hmm.
say compared to the US, it is definitely more expensive. I would
Okay.
assume so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your second question, you spoke about Eritrean women, did you say? Or that was the
Yeah.
third one?
Eritrean women. Yeah. The Eritrean women.
Okay, so
Yeah.
with the Eritrean women, yeah, in Australia, I think they usually they do dates outside their culture.
Hmm.
Um, I have seen some Eritrean women with white men, but usually they date within their culture. And
Okay.
most times I have seen them, if they were to date outside their culture, I think they dated more South Sudanese.
Oh, okay.
And I,
Okay. Okay.
and I
Okay.
think, like I said, I think that would be because they are sort of grown up with the same people, like I
Right.
said
Right.
previously. So yeah, so I would say, yeah,
Okay.
that with the Eritrean women. So
Yeah.
I don't remember your last question.
Yeah, the I guess I'm gonna change my last question. Now, we know that in Australia, there's the what we call the Aboriginals. Like we know the indigenous Australian people.
Yeah.
They tend to be darker and stuff like that. They look kind of looking like us, you know. Uh do they like African dudes, black dudes? Do they like fancy them or no?
Absolutely, they love black dudes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't
They
know that.
they
Oh,
they do
okay.
like black dudes. Yeah, they
Oh,
do
okay.
like black dudes. Yeah,
Okay.
they
Okay.
do.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, in terms of family life, is it possible to still raise a family and tradition there, or is that
I
impossible?
I think it is. I don't think the family values is as bad as it in US, because I see a lot of things in the US lately of how they're trying to inculcate kids with all this nonsense about
Yeah. Yeah.
so I do see that a lot in the US. I don't think it's as bad as that, yeah, in Australia. So I still think you can raise a family pretty well here in Australia, and
Okay.
but I think it all depends on who you're with. So
Okay.
that would go as far as what the type of family structure you would have.
Okay.
So I think yeah, I think it's pretty good for family. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate the intel. Thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Base Pillow. Appreciate you, brother. Great questions there. So brothers, call in. Now's your time to ask the guest questions. The link is pinned in the live stream chat, so calling is in the blue bar. So, brother, these Aboriginal women, they like brothers. Why is that, brother?
Um, because they're black as well, I would say. Yeah, I would say,
They ain't black. They
my
ain't
friends
black,
is
bro.
no, they are not African black, but their skin is black.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Their skin is black. Um, the a typical real Aborigine is as dark as, I think, can be really dark, because you also have the ones that are light skin that are mixed. So you have the really light skinned ones that I mean, you would even have some that look pretty white, but they have like you know Aboriginal blood in them. So you have those as well. You have the ones that makes those ones usually are in the cities, like in you find them in Melbourne and Perth. You find a lot of them in Perth, in I believe Queensland, and majority of them are in Darwin, Northern Territory. So, but the real Aborigines in like the countryside, those ones are usually very dark, and those are like the yeah. So they do check out for products. They like black men. I've had experiences with them. They're good. They're good. Yeah.
Okay. They're good women. Okay. Then are they have they adopted to the whole Australian liberal lifestyle?
They have. I wouldn't lie. They have. But also I think it depends on the family structure. You do have some that are really good. You know, from good homes. I think those ones are better. But obviously, I don't really want to say much about the Aboriginal people because I do respect them.
Hmm.
This is their country, so I don't want to speak about them in any sort of negative light. But yeah, they do check out for brothers, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Shout out to them, man. Obviously, very tragic history.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I'm hoping justice eventually prevails for them, man. Justice,
yeah,
where are you, man? Please, I mean, we need justice for them, justice for Black people. They've been for a lot. We've been for a lot as Black people in the last 500 years, man. We need justice to come through and set things right because we done out here. We done suffering. We're tired of suffering. We're tired of being a bum. We're tired of being mistreated and looked down upon, man. We want to run this world, man. You know, we need Africa to rise, man. We need Africa to be a superpower and rise and control this world, man. It's our time, brothers. It's our time, man. Justice, where are you, justice? Please, justice. Please. Damn. Andrewski, let me bring in Andrewski in the background. Thank you, brother. You're confirmed. Let me bring in Andrewski, Gordon. What's going on, Andrewski?
Hey, IP, what's going on? For the guests, I have one question about Australia. Um, how safe is the country, like in terms of like if you're walking by yourself at night or you're walking down a street, how safe is it?
Australia is very safe, bro. Very, very safe. I think you would get less bugged here in Australia than you would in the US, I believe.
So is it
When it
like
comes,
so is it like Korea safe? Because when I was in Korea, it was like super safe. Is it like when like IP goes to Japan safe? Is it that on that level of safety?
I haven't been to Korea before, but I wouldn't know. But I have been to Rwanda, and I would say Australia is as safe as Rwanda, maybe. It is
Okay,
safe. It
all
is
right.
safe. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I wanted to know.
No worries. No worries.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrewski. Appreciate you, brother. Awesome. All right, brother. We got 45 minutes left, man. Don't waste this time. I'm telling you, this is the perfect time to ask about Australia. Um, so we gonna continue talking, and if there's no new callers in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna end the stream. Oh, we'll let Babatunde go. We won't waste his time at all. So, brothers, please call in. So let me ask this, brother. Right. Sorry, bro. I'm super tired.
Yeah. I can imagine this. Yeah, it's quite early there in the UK.
So, brother, let me ask this right. What is the average budget, monthly to survive there in Australia, brother? As a normal brother.
Ooh. Um, so the average income here, you know, I would say it's around, it depends. It depends on your lifestyle, I would say. Um, so I would say just to have like a basic, you know, I'd say around maybe 65 grand a year. Yeah. Obviously, you want to earn more than that. You probably want to earn six figures, to have a very decent life here living in Australia. But I think if you earn between 65 to 80, you would, yeah, you definitely have, you know, yeah.
Okay. Brother, in terms of safety, right? How dangerous is it in terms of like all these animals and all these, weird wildlife artifacts, brother? Are you safe there, brother? Or is there a case where you've actually saw like a big spider in your house and that was a poisonous? Just how safe is it in
Yeah,
terms of
you,
those
you
creatures?
you remind me of my mom and IP. I remember what the first time I wanted to come to Australia. They were like, "Why are you going to Australia?" My brother would, kept saying that, "Oh, in Australia you got like all this wild animals and stuff." There's none of that, man. Those things do exist, but those things are like in the countryside or like in the outskirts. So in all the main cities, you would never find. I don't think I've ever seen a spider before in my house anywhere in Australia, and I've been here almost 10 years. So Australia is very safe. Um, it is very Western infrastructure. Yeah, is impressive. It is a safe country, that I can tell you.
Okay, awesome, brother. So no kangaroos busting through your window trying to fight you with their claws, yeah?
Nah, except maybe you're driving towards the there's actually more kangaroos here than human beings in Australia. It's weird.
What? More kangaroos than
Yeah,
human beings in
yeah.
Australia?
So the kangaroos actually double the size of humans here in Australia.
What do you mean in
That's
terms of numbers? In numbers
in
or in
terms
terms of like,
no, in terms of numbers, yeah.
brother, hold on. There's 30 million Australian people. You telling me there's 60 million kangaroos?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know it's weird. There are more kangaroos here in Australia than yeah, I'm actually human beings. Yeah.
So why aren't you coming across them on a daily basis, brother? In
That's
Melbourne.
you won't see them in Melbourne. Like I said, I'm not even sure if there are kangaroos here in Victoria. Victoria is like the smallest state in Australia. But like I said, you will find that if you leave the city and you drive towards the outskirts, like in the towns and regional areas, within states, you would find kangaroos, and yeah, but you wouldn't see them in the cities. You will find except you see them in the zoo, except the zoos, you will find them anywhere within the city. Not at all, not at all. Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
actually, WA has I think the largest species of snakes in the world. Like you'll find the most poisonous and most dangerous snakes in WA, Western Australia, but you won't find them in the city. They're usually on the outskirts, so it is safe. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So it's Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane. You ain't got to worry about crazy animals, snakes,
Nah,
kangaroos. Okay,
nah, no way, no way, no way. Yeah,
that's mad, bruv.
yeah.
Yo, man, hey, you better be careful, bro. Those kangaroos might just turn into Planet of the Apes and start running on you humans, bruv.
You never know. You never know. Yeah.
Don't
I
worry, bro.
think some.
I go on.
Sorry, I think sometimes they do have like the way you have it in the US, it's like bear season or things like that, where you can shoot a kangaroo. I think that happens like every now and then because they're way too much. They're way too much.
Wow. Don't worry, brother. I got a strap for you, brother. So if you need it, let me
Yeah.
know, man. The Glock 49, you bang out some, shoot some kangaroos, man. Get cracking, brother. Get popping, brother. Make sure you got the Glock 69, bro. All right, awesome. Um, okay, let me bring in Base Polo again. Hold on. What's going on, Base Polo?
Nothing much. I apologize for coming in again, but something did come to my mind because I
Hmm.
met them. I met them out here. They were tourists, basically. I met an Australian of Greek descent out here, and I
Yep.
also met a Australian of Russian descent out here. They more or less were more chill. They were not on the let's it's a free for all type thing. So for those Australians, do they maintain tradition, or are they kind of on the same bandwagon as well? You know what I mean?
So yeah, you remember like if you were here from the beginning, I did say that Australians, Caucasian Australians that are perhaps first generation are usually more cultured than the ones that have been here, 5 generation, type Australians.
Okay.
So in Melbourne, you have the largest population of Greek people outside of Greece.
Okay.
So the Greek people here are fantastic. They're
Okay.
lovely. Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
so they usually like you're very true. It's very true what you said. They're
Okay.
usually more chilled than the average type, Anglo-Saxon Australian. That
Yes.
I can tell you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. 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 Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. And also shout outs to Nigeria, the women for beating Australia in football too. Shout outs to them as well.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out
Yeah,
to the Super Falcons.
yeah. Shout outs to them. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. So, brother, are the Greek women in Australia checking for brothers?
I would say you would get more love from them than the usual Anglo-Saxons for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Amazing, awesome, awesome. All right, brothers, man. Calling got over 108 people. I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes, 5-10 minutes for a new caller, new callers. If that's not the case, we're gonna let Babatunde uh, leave and enjoy the bright sunny day in Australia on this bright Sunday. So awesome live stream, brother. Australia is an interesting country. Um, so, brother, so why have you not been to Japan, South Korea, and all these other Asian countries around Australia?
To be honest, that's a good question. Uh, so my first 4 years in Australia, I was studying. So I didn't really have the resources or time to actually leave Australia to go to all these neighboring countries. Then after that, I was quite busy because I was working. Then COVID happened. But I do feel like there's nothing much to see because I've lived in Australia for a while and it is a Western country. It is a first world country. So the first time I did travel, I went to Nigeria and I came back. And since then, I have traveled mostly to Africa, you know, and the experience is just different for me living in, being in Africa because you see more people that look like you just have a better vibe in Africa. Uh, but I guess in the future, I would definitely visit Japan. Funny enough, I had a friend who wanted us to go to Japan about 2 months ago. But I said to him, like, look, I would love, because then I just got back from my travel from Africa. And I did tell him that, look, I would love to visit Japan, but I would rather save that money and visit Africa again in December. So that's the plan. But in the future, I would definitely visit Japan and the rest, the countries around Australia. But I have
Awesome.
traveled within Australia a lot. I've been to all the major cities here, so I can tell you what you know, like what they look like and what sort of vibe you would get from there. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna get African streams from Babatunde coming very soon, and Patreon content as well from Babatunde. So we got that plan coming very soon. So appreciate Babatunde for reaching out to me and agreeing to do so. Shout out to our African brothers, man. We want to see Africa rise, man, because for me, a big part of as to why we're in the current positions right now in the West, is because we have no strong foundational country backing us. The Chinese Americans have China. The Indians Americans have India. The Arabic people have Saudi Arabia, Qatar. We don't have that, so we need Africa to rise. Even though I'm Black British, you're Black American, you're Black Canadian. We all Black at the end of the day. We all Black. So if we can facilitate some sort of connection, some sort of trade between our African brothers, Western Black men with African brothers, with Caribbean brothers, we would be unstoppable. We would be unstoppable. It's coming very soon, man. It's coming very soon. Believe, and let's achieve, man. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping, man. Right. So, Let me see, Mister. I got Black Muslim in the background. I got Theo Waf. Let me bring in Theo Waf first, and I'm gonna bring in Black Muslim after. Okay. So hold on there, Black Muslim. Let me bring in Theo, the king, the greatest passport bro in the history of passport bros. So Theo, you ready, brother? Give me a thumbs up, bro. Yeah, let's get it cracking, bro. Let's get it cracking. What's going on, you brother, Theo?
Oh, good. It's got done talking to the fellow passport bro here in Austin and did my laundry, did some shopping. So it's been a good Saturday night. I've been listening to you for about an hour so far, something like that. But it was going to be Australia, and I was like, oh, I got some bombs about Australia. So not only did I have a super chat where my childhood friend got cheated on twice, got his life destroyed. Well, he's not making any kids. My father met Sheila, which was an Australian woman online back in '99, fell in love with her. She basically seduced him and said that she was being abused in her marriage. And he left the family. My dad left and went out to be with her. And just basically destroyed my family entirely, 100%. And yeah, that's why I said, like, I if you notice, like, I don't talk about Australia that much. I don't say good things about the country. I don't say anything at all because I have like a personal grievance against the country for what happened. So I lost my best friend and I lost my father over this process. So my dad and I were very close, and I was just like, I'm not even going to tolerate you doing what you're doing. You know it's wrong. So she kept him in Australia, and was it. And that and later on, it was obvious that like I met her husband. It was obvious that she was totally in the wrong. She was totally lying about her what became her ex-husband. He was a very good man, and she did it all for financial gain. So she basically bled her ex-husband, and then she bled my father as well. So because of this, I have no inheritance. When my parents died, I had nothing. I got zero. So I was just like, okay, yeah, I don't like you guys at all. I don't like Aussie women. I'm done with you. So what the gentleman is saying here about Melbourne versus Sydney is very much correct. I liked Melbourne quite a lot. I've been there. I have a lot of kangaroos, but that was in the outskirts of Melbourne. I went to a kangaroo park, and there were plenty of them. I was advised not to pet them because they're very big. I'm 6 feet tall. They're definitely taller than you, so they can do something if they want to. Yeah, it's a very beautiful country. Australian women, many of them are very beautiful, just straight out beautiful. But they monetize. I say they both monetize and weaponize their sexuality, as other Western women do, and they do it so in a very abusive fashion. And when they get down into divorce or taking your assets from you, they're brutal and cruel. And I would not want to be involved with them whatsoever. So I mean, globally, I've met plenty of Aussie women, and I don't even look twice. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with you, because of just how brutal they are. So those are my words that I have with Australians. Again, with Australian women. Of course, Australian men do much better in Asia. They actually make really good families, and they're not nearly as aggressive or brutal as the women are, as far as I'm concerned. So, my little 2 cents. That's what I got.
Yeah,
Wow.
shout out to you. Yeah, he's actually correct. You do find a lot of Australian men that are going to Southeast Asia to look for wives. You see that a lot. Yeah, they do go to places like Bali, Indonesia, the Philippines, and
Right.
yeah, countries like that to actually look for wives.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot, yeah, in Australia, especially
Hey,
the ones that are close to like in Western Australia, because it's closer to Southeast Asia than
yeah.
Melbourne. You do see that a lot, yeah.
They tend to be rather decent men, down to earth. That's what I would say about Australian men. Actually, I went through this experience, and I talked with everyone, and I was there in Australia, and I was like, these Aussie men are very normal. Like, they're very good husbands. Uh, it's the women. That's what's going on. It has nothing to do with the men at all. The way that the women are talking, they're basically in the outback. They're having to, look for water, clean clothes by hand. She's being she's being done over by Aborigines and by Aussie men and by a couple Roos, and even the koalas are coming out and doing her, and she's just like, she's a victim of everyone, and it's like, no, man, that's not what's going on at all. Like it's not at all. It's not the aggressor is the woman. So again, just my little point, guys. I would say if you want to go to Australia, go there maybe for a good time. I wouldn't even do that if I were you. There's money to be made in Australia, though. That's correct. There's money to be made in IT. Yep, with 100%. You could definitely get some work. I would definitely use it as a place for entering Asia. Correct. Like I heard you guys talking about that. I 100% agree with that. That's actually a good tactic. But in terms of marriage, oh heck no. No. Don't even try. The women are just too aggressive and too horrible. Anyway,
before I bring in Black Muslim, right, brothers, let me share my screen here, right. What are you brothers doing, right? If this muscular, jacked kangaroo steps to you like this, with that face and these arms muscly like this, man. What is going on here? And that's actually real. He's called Russia.
It is real. It is real.
Yeah. So you look at them in the eye. You don't move too quick. You don't let them get too close. You have to stand your ground, basically, and make sure eventually they're aggressive. You don't know if they're going to be aggressive with you or not, so you don't want to be aggressive to them, because if they don't like you, they can go at you. Oh, yeah. Those things are totally strong. They're not weak at all. Don't even think they're weak. No, they're strong animals.
Yeah, they are strong. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna fight it, bruv. I'm gonna fight. I've been in the gym. I've been in the gym. I got my my muscles on now, so I'm gonna fight, buddy. Bro for blow. Let's see who wins. I can beat it.
So what they can do is they can put their front paws on your shoulder, and then they can put their tail down, and they stand with their tail, and then they get their back legs. They bring them up, and then they attack you with their back legs.
Yeah, they kick. Yeah.
And
kick
you
could
can't
be really fierce. Yeah.
You can't do anything about it. They've got you. So it's like the last thing you want to do. So if they're following you or they're looking at you, just be cool. Keep on going. They're not like cute little dogs or anything like that. They domesticate you, not the other way around. It's Australia.
Do they eat humans at all?
No, okay. I don't think so. No, but they can kill a human. That's for sure. Right? There's been. I mean, I don't think it's been recent, but there has been historical people like kangaroos killing people. Yeah.
Yeah. They can kill you. They can. They're strong. Yeah. They're really strong. They're very strong.
Crazy.
One kick, that's it. Boom.
Yeah. That's it. You're not gonna make it.
You're not gonna make it, man. One kick, poof, that's it.
But they tend to be gentle animals. But they're assertive though. They're strong, but they're gentle. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna drop down. I got some things to do, so I just wanted to go ahead and do that real quick. Good stream. Keep on watching.
Thank you for your appreciation, brother.
See you guys.
Let me bring in the Black Muslim, and before I do so, shout out to Mr. B Irons for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. I want to talk to you about my Spain experience, one day IP, brother. Please do so. Send me a DM on IG, and let's get that sorted out. Thank you, brother. Black Muslim, give me a thumbs up, bro. Can I bring you on with a camera on? Is that okay? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Let me bring in the Black Muslim. Let's get it cracking, man. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, IP? What's going on, B? Man, so I was I'm late to the whole chat, so I didn't hear everything. I don't know if you covered it or not, but I was like, what is up with Australia post pandemic? I don't know if it's YouTube guidelines or whatever like that. I don't want to mess up nothing, but like, how is it, man? Because their people were going through a crazy lockdown. Were you there during that time? And
yes, I was in Melbourne during that time, unfortunately. During the time during COVID, WA was least affected by COVID, and I was in WA until 2021. So at the time, I was told that things were better, because even on TV, I was saying that it was really bad in Melbourne. I think Melbourne is the most locked down city during that all COVID time. I think it was pretty bad here in Melbourne. So I thought that things were better. So because I've been wanting to move to Melbourne for a while. So I then left Melbourne. I then left Perth for Melbourne in 2021. It was good when I came because Australia was locked out for the rest of the like no one could get into Australia at the
Hmm.
time. So when I went to Melbourne, the initial 4 weeks was good. So I thought that things would, but I could see that the city wasn't the same. You know, it just wasn't the same as it was when I visited for holiday and stuff. So I just decided that you know what, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna stay here. I got a place, and the worst happened. We just went straight into lockdown. So lockdown was pretty bad here in Melbourne. It was pretty bad, yeah. But things are back to normal now. Things are back to normal now, inshallah.
How do you feel like, being in that environment, knowing that like really if the government wants to, they can switch it all up overnight? Like, do you feel like, nah, I don't want to keep living here? It's too easy to lose your rights here. Like that's the vibe I got.
Um, look, I think they thought that it was the best thing to do at the time, because obviously what was going on, I think we had less casualty here in Melbourne than obviously the US and Europe, when it comes to like to COVID. So I
Mm,
think that was partly the reasons. But yeah, it is the premier have a lot of power. The premiers are like what you call governors in the states in the US. I think it's pretty much fashioned the same way.
hmm.
And at the time, because WA was like when it comes to resources, that is where Australia gets most of its exports, because there's a lot of mining, there's iron ore. So when it comes to mineral resource, they are largely in WA. So what the premier said then was that if he was to open WA up to the rest of Australia, there would be a crisis, you know, in the country as a whole because of definitely the mines will be shut down, everything will be on ground zero. So so I think they just felt like, look, they needed to do what they had to do, and that was pretty much what happened at the time. So I think they just wanted to make sure that we were all safe.
Yeah, I think different passport bros got different strategies. Some of them are like, look, I'm moving to the country that I meet my wife in because I'm not moving her back here. And some guys might be like, listen, I might want a girl from here, but to move to this country, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? And I just, when I think
Mhm.
about Australia, it just doesn't come across for me as a place to go to. I mean, you could have issues in any country when it comes to politics and whatnot, and things can change overnight.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. One thing I do tell you about Australia is that there is money to be made here in Australia. That I can tell you. That I can tell you. So if you're into IT, like I said, cybersecurity is the new kid on the block. There's a lot of demand for cybersecurity specialists here in Australia. It's big. I think it's the biggest area of IT right here in Australia. So you can definitely make money here. But for me, I think I'm gradually trying to transition away from Australia, to somewhere in the Middle East or East Africa. I think that's my plan.
So you're okay. That's kind of more what I'm thinking. Like, are you staying in Australia forever? Is it such a good place that you want to live there for the rest of your life?
I
Or
don't
do
think
you?
I don't think I will leave it for the rest of my life. I think I'm in the process of transitioning, and that's just for me anyway. So I'm in the process of transitioning to the Middle East, or East Africa. So it all depends on what you want, what you're looking for, what you like. If you if you meet let's say, perhaps if I was married, maybe that would have been a different you know, I would have a different perspective. But I've always wanted to at some point move back to Africa, though. That's been something that's always been in my mind. So
Okay.
I think it might just happen sooner than I thought. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much my questions, man. I know I missed a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. But I do kind of wonder what kind of girls they offer, but I don't want to ask questions you already answered again.
Yeah,
So,
we broke it down there, brother. So in the first half an hour, so that's I have all the intel you need, bro.
all right, cool. All right,
Thank you, bro.
so
Peace
nice.
out, brother.
Happy stuff.
When you say the Middle East, Babatunde, is that like Dubai, Qatar?
Yeah, Dubai, Qatar, and I think people are slipping on Saudi Arabia as well. I think Saudi is making moves to integrate with the rest of the world. I don't know if
Mm,
you're. I think I'm getting that. I was watching a concert a few weeks ago by Tiwa Savage. She had a concert in Saudi, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" You know. And yeah, lately, yeah, they I think they bought a team in England, Newcastle.
mm,
So they're pumping a lot of money into sports, into I think Anthony Joshua had a fight there just a few years ago. So I think Saudi might be the next sport in the Middle East. I think they're doing a lot to. I think they're trying to move away from resource energy, from crude oil, and they're trying to invest more in tourism and sports. So I think in the future, Saudi will definitely be, a place passport bros can, definitely get, that paper. So, but for the time being, I would say Dubai or but I would prefer East Africa though. I think Africa just gives you more in terms of how much your money you know, can get you
mm.
rather than even Dubai. I think if you're a passport pro, not just a passport pro, but just an individual, and you're in IT, you're earning US dollars. I think living in a country like maybe Kenya or Rwanda, yeah, that would be the dream life. There's so much more your money can do for you back there. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, man, awesome. All right, so we got 20 more minutes, so let's try and flesh out to the 2 hour mark, Babatunde. So brothers, call in, man, call in. If you want to chime on this particular topic about Australia, I think it's definitely worth it because it can give you money to do what you want with it, and then of course branch yourself off to Asia, Indonesia, etc., etc. So we got to use these Western countries as bases, for bigger things, man. Um, at this current point in time. So call in, brothers, call in. Man, don't be shy, brothers. Don't be shy. Call in. Thank you, Babatunde. Is there anything else you want to add about Australia in terms of like, let's say, the nightlife scene? How's that there, brother?
I think I said that already during the course of this live stream. Yeah, well, in Perth though, like I said, one thing I do notice in Perth is that um, a lot of the clubs that are in the city, uh, you know, there's a lot of pickup culture here in Australia. Pickup culture. You go to the club, you're picking up a chick. It's really common here in Australia, and even if you don't pick up chick, like I've even had situations in the past where a girl will ask me, "Did you go to the club last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Did you pick up a chick? If you say no, she'll look at you like, "Really? You didn't pick up any chick?" Like, it's weird if you're not picking up girls at the club. So it's really big here in Australia. The pickup culture is really big. However, you get more love, like I said, if you're Caucasian. I'm sure a lot of those Caucasian dudes probably pick up chicks every other night at the club once they go clubbing. It is really big here. So I think as a brother, you'll get more love as regards to that if you go to a lot of clubs that have a lot of those backpackers from Europe. I think they also are into that sort of culture as well, especially the German women. I think I've had so many, experiences from myself and a lot of the brothers I hang out with those type of women from those countries getting picked up a lot in the club. So I think the nightlife is, yeah, I think you experience that a lot in Australia.
Is nightlife vibrant? In terms of the vibes, the music, the
It is,
entertainment.
it is. It is. So if you go to like a lot of the Aussie clubs, the music is kind of stale. So I don't go to a lot of them. But nowadays you have like hip hop clubs where you listen to a lot of hip hop, R&B. In those clubs, you see a lot of young Aussie women. Sometimes it's a blend of different cultures and race as well.
Mm.
But nowadays, specifically, I go to Africa Afrobeats club. So there you see more obviously black people and a bit of Caucasian, Asian, and the rest. So it is vibrant. But for me, these days, I just go to the Afrobeat clubs just because of the music and everything else. Yeah.
Interesting. Asians and Afrobeats clubs. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you see that sometimes. You see that sometimes. A lot these days, actually. Yeah.
So now, is that in terms of the Korean, Japanese, Chinese?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I would say mostly I don't see a lot of Japanese women in clubs here, to be honest. But I do see Korean and Chinese women, yeah. So you will find that and also women from Asian countries like the Philippines. I think Philippines you know get that with brothers a lot, yeah, in this
Mm.
country. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Filipinos.
they love us everywhere, brother.
Yeah, yeah. You can't go wrong with Filipinos, man. Yeah. I think they're my favorite Asian people.
Let me ask this, brother. Right. So who runs? Um, Obviously, we know the white people have a lot of power there, but when it comes to minorities, right, is it the Indian and Chinese people that actually have a lot of sway in Australia?
I would say that. I would say that. The Chinese have a lot of money. Um, so you have a lot of Chinese migrants. Um, yeah, in Australia, like they send their kids there to school. Uh, they send, they come here to buy property. Like I remember in Perth, you will find like a lot of Chinese people everywhere, like even in the streets, even here in Melbourne. You look around, you see Asian people everywhere, like, in all their major stores, the Fendi's, the Ferragamo, Salvatore Ferragamo, the Gucci stores, woof, you see Asians everywhere, man. So there is a lot of Chinese money here in Australia. They come here to even the proper. I think there's a law that sort of banned Chinese investors buying farmland here in Australia because I think a lot of farm products go from Australia to China, and I
Mm.
think some Chinese were then buying up lands and investing in agriculture. I think they stopped that now. But when it comes to like real estate, property, businesses, you find a lot of Chinese, and definitely. So I would say the Chinese and the Indians, when it comes to minorities, are the ones that are, yeah, yeah, they are a lot of, especially with the Chinese though. There's a lot of Chinese money here in Australia. Yeah.
Thanks for that breakdown, brother. Shout out to Mr. Dems Wood for the $197 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Australia is part of the Anglosphere, the West. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's still a problem. So we ain't looking for no wives there, man. Impossible. So let's wrap it up, man. Let's wrap it up. So, Mr. Babatunde, thank you, brother, for coming on here, brother, and sharing your experience. Looking forward to get you on the channel more. Any closing words, brother?
What I would say, my advice to Pastor Bros and myself is get into IT. Um, you know, um, if, for those that are not in IT yet, sign up with IP, learn that Python, get your your certifications on Top Gear and explore the world. Australia is there's definitely a market for cybersecurity analysts and specialists here in Australia, and you can definitely make good money here. But I won't recommend you know, finding a wife here in Australia. But it is definitely good for money to make money. That I can that I can advise.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Babatunde, thank you, brother, for calling in and sharing your experience. Much appreciated, brother. So I'm going to end the live stream now. So, brothers, thank you very much, brothers, for all the brothers who hit the super chat. Much appreciated. Let me check the PayPal just in case I didn't miss anything. Babatunde, feel free to jump up anytime you want to, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So let me check my brothers. I am tired, man. Oh Lord, I need to sleep. I'm knackered. Lord, this is. Let me see. Give me 1 second, brothers. Bruv, come on, man. Sign me in. Bitches, twin, jet ski, tripping off the jet ski, twin, not the jet ski. Let me check the PayPal. Hold on, brothers. All right, shout out to Mr. Mr. Irvin for the what's it called? For the £2.48 PayPal donation. Thank you, brother. Imperial Tech, right now is the best time to migrate to Australia. Okay, the current labor government has made it easy for anyone to immigrate to Australia. Immigration laws have been relaxed because of skilled shortages. Is that true, Babatunde?
Absolutely. I can attest to that 100%. It is easier now to move to Australia. Obviously because of the new government, the Labour government, and also because of the last few years due to COVID and everything else. So yeah, it is definitely easier to move now to Australia than before.
Awesome. All right, brothers, I'm going to end the live stream now. Please make sure you book a consultation with me. Go on the Patreon, bronze tier, platinum tier, IP Lightning tier to get on the IT mentorship plan with me. Look out for my upcoming Python course. I'll be taking new people. Please cop the merch. Please support any way possible. Hit the PayPal when I stop streaming. Like my videos, share it to other brothers. And yeah, I will see you brothers on the next video. And peace out and shout out to Mr. Babatunde for dropping the classic, man. Shout out to you brothers for the support, and I'll see you brothers soon. Peace out, brothers. Thank you very much.